Intrusive thoughts are those random thoughts and images. Sometimes they're disturbing, unwanted thoughts that just pop into your mind out of nowhere. And we're going to talk about it today. And we're not just going to talk about them, we're going to talk about how to deal with them in a healthy way and how to shut off those images and voices in your head. So if you've ever felt anxious, if you've ever been scared because of the thoughts in your head, I want you to stay with me till the end of this video. We are going to walk hand in hand and we're going to try and understand what's happening in our heads, in our minds, and why those thoughts are not defining you. Those thoughts do not define you, and how to take back power, how to take back the power in your mind and in your head, and how to take control of those voices in your head. And sometimes I think I have spoken to a few people who have also been able to completely banish those thoughts, like forever. I don't know how that works because I've tried it. I've tried it. I've not been able to banish them forever. But I've been able to see how to just say, you know what, just shush. I don't want to hear it. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, definitely you want to stick to the end of this video and get your journals, get your pen, get something to hydrate your throat, and let's just ease right into it. Hi, this is Amolola, and this is the For Healing Girls YouTube channel. If this is your first time coming on this channel, you're welcome. There's lots of seats, lots of spaces. You can take as much space as you want. And if you're a regular, I just want to say thank you. Some days, honestly, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I've got to confess, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, who gave you the idea to go on YouTube and start to talk about the things you talk about? But here we are, and hopefully we don't stop because I believe there are people out there who are on a path that I have been on, and my experiences and what I have learned over the years could be of help to someone. So you're welcome. You're welcome. And as the thumbnail implied and as the topic implied, we're talking about intrusive thoughts today. Raise your hands up if you've just been on your bed and then you have a very disturbing negative thoughts just rush through your mind, and sometimes it rushes through your mind and then it lingers. Raise your hand up if that has happened to you. I know that has happened to me. I know that that happened to me as early as 2 weeks ago. The last time I had an intrusive thought that I was really mindful of was 2 weeks ago. And 2 weeks ago, I decided to make this video thanks to the conversation I had with a very dear friend of mine as well. So if you've ever just had this unwanted mental images or ideas pop into your mind without your consent, then definitely you've gone through you've had intrusive thoughts. Those thoughts can be weird, they can be disturbing, or even completely opposite to your values and beliefs. And it could be really crazy at times. So maybe you're cooking and then suddenly you just have this thoughts, you're chopping onions and you just have this thought of, what if I just take this knife and it wounds me and blood splatters everywhere the way it shows in the anime videos? Or you're taking care of a baby and like, what if this baby drops from my hand? Those are mild intrusive thoughts. I know some of you are looking at me and like, But like, you're talking about the mild ones. You're not talking about the deep ones. And I would not talk about the deep ones because I don't know what they are. I have had intrusive thoughts, and most times my intrusive thoughts are mostly trauma based from the bullying and the wrongdoing and the unkindness I have experienced as a child. Most times, that is where my intrusive thoughts come from, and sometimes the intrusive thoughts could also be reminders. They remind you of every negative emotion, every negative words, every unkind thing or words that someone else has done to you. So that's the kind of intrusive thoughts that I have battled with. And here's the truth: everyone has intrusive thoughts. If you're someone who has never experienced intrusive thoughts, please comment down below because we need to get you on this channel to tell us if there's something we are doing wrong on this side. So the difference is that some people can brush their intrusive thoughts like this, like very easily. They can just be like, I don't want to think about this, and it flashes away. While others, especially if you've struggled with anxiety, trauma, or perfectionism, tend to focus and over focus on their intrusive thoughts. And intrusive thoughts love attention. The more you focus on them, the bigger they become. They are not proof that you're a bad person. So if you have an intrusive thoughts, don't think you are a bad person. You're not a bad person. They are not predictions of the future, and they are definitely not who you really are inside of you. You need to understand that it has nothing to do with who you are and prediction of the future. Some people have lost their minds because they had intrusive thoughts, and it's led to think that these intrusive thoughts were sort of visions or telling them what the future might hold. Now, if you're experiencing that, you definitely need a mental health therapist. You might even need a psychiatrist, or not even all, and you might need some sort of spiritual deliverance. Yeah, but really, you need to understand that when you have those thoughts, I don't want you to cower in fear and shame and guilt, thinking that, oh, because I'm having those thoughts, then I must be a bad person. You're not a bad person. Intrusive thoughts are often the brain's way of testing boundaries or processing fears. Sometimes they're just random noise in your mental radio station. I call it the mental radio station. We all have a mental radio station. There's just this voice, chip, 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 all day long in our heads. And some of us hear these voices more than others. It sounds crazy, but yeah. And just because a thought shows up doesn't mean you want to believe it, or you have to believe it, or it is what it is. Sometimes those thoughts are lying. Outrightly, they're liars. There are a few reasons intrusive thoughts happen, and one of them is stress and anxiety. Your brain goes into overdrive and it keeps scanning for danger. You're going through stress. So before you know it, your brain is telling you, oh, if you're driving today, be very careful because you might have an accident. Or number two, past trauma. Your mind can replay fears or worst case scenarios, which is the intrusive thoughts that I personally have experienced. And then number three, OCD or anxiety disorder. If you're prone to anxiety and you've been clinically tested for OCD and you have OCD, you realize the intrusive thoughts are a common symptom. And then number four, just being human. Just being human. I think I love number four so much. You're human. So seriously, random mental junk happens to everyone. Everyone happens to me, happens to you. Just mental junk, mental junk. And so you shouldn't feel so bad if you have an intrusive thoughts. Yeah. Step one, I need you to recognize and label it every time you're having an intrusive thoughts. You need to say to yourself, I say to myself, I'm like, this is just a thought and it's not reality. And sometimes I name it because I discovered it helps me to separate it from my original thoughts. So sometimes you want to converse briefly with the voice in your head, with that intrusive thoughts by simply recognizing it and be like, oh, I see you. You're the one that comes to tell me how much of a bad work I'm doing with being human. I see you, but I'm not falling for that today. And let that thought just pass. And then step two, don't fight it. Oh my God. 2 weeks ago, I was on my bed and I was reading a book and I just had this intrusive thoughts. And I start to fight the thought. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. I don't want to think about this right now. I don't want to think about this. I know this has happened. I don't want to think about it. It's where it's stuck in 2005 or whatever that happened. I don't want to think about it. Don't bring it to me. And I kept fighting it. But the more I fought it, the more it came fully with other memories to remind me of, all this crazy and horrible things that happened to me as a child. And I was like, I must not think about this. But the more I said it, the stronger the voice got. So instead, here's what I've learned. You need to acknowledge that thought and let it pass like a cloud in the sky. In fact, people always say, oh, Lola, you're filled with imaginations and affirmations. How do they help? They really help. They really help because sometimes your brain, your mind needs something to hold on to. So sometimes I literally imagine that thought on a cloud and I'm like, bye. Bye. I'm not thinking about that. And I just imagine that cloud being, pushed away by wind. And in my case, I like to think of, you know, the spiritual force of my life and how God is just like, this thought is not my thoughts, because the Bible tells us to subject every thought under the authority of Christ. So I do that, and I use the cloud imagery. So you might want to try it. It might work for you. And step three, you need to practice grounding. And grounding is simply bringing back your focus to the present moment. I'm sure you've heard this. When you're having intrusive thoughts, or when you feel like you're not grounded in the moment, or you're not being mindful, look around you, name five things you can see, four things you can touch, three things you can hear, and two things you can smell, and one thing you can taste. So let's practice this right now. Let's practice it. I need you to look around you and name five things you can see. In my case, I can see a lamp, I can see a little dryer, I can see a basket, I can see a wooden table, I can see a wooden chair. That's five things I can see. So what can you see? And then name four things that you can touch. I can touch my hair because I love my hair. I can touch the wooden table. I can touch the wooden chair. I can touch the white lazy top I'm wearing. That's how many things. I think that's four things. I was not keeping track. And then number three, three things you can hear. What can you hear? I can hear the sound of my voice. I can hear the fact that I didn't turn off the tap properly, and I can hear the drip, drip, drip of the water. And I can hear the humming of my fridge. Oh, this is fun. I've done this a lot of times, but every time I do it feels like I'm a child who is discovering something for the first time again. I can hear the humming of my fridge. And I know it's weird, but I love the humming of the fridge. I think it because it reminds me that there's electricity coming from Nigeria, where electricity is not. Okay, that's by the way. And then number two, number four, you need to name two things you can smell. So do that on your end. What two things can you smell? In my case, I can smell the soft, flowery scent of the detergent I used to wash the shirts the last time. What else? Yeah, I can sense food. I don't know where it's coming from because I've not cooked in this house today, but I can smell food. And then one thing you can taste. I can taste the taste of my mouth. I had this very rich tomato sauce with pasta and fried eggs, and somehow I can still taste the bit of the tomato sauce in my mouth. So that's grounding. So if you did that with me, uh, on your own side, that's simply what grounding is. Sometimes you need to eject yourself out of that thoughts by doing those things. It really helps, guys. And then number four, replace and don't replay. You can't control the first thoughts that comes to your mind, but you can choose your next one. So in my case, as I said, I was thinking about those things and all the stuffs that happened, and I was like, oh, but look at how wonderful of a life. Look at how wonderful I'm living now. Look at how beautiful I'm living now. Look at how I'm evolving. Look at how beautiful I'm getting day by day. And not just in my physical looks, but in my mind. Look at the growth. Look at so much growth around me and in me. And I'm telling you, those thoughts were like, so you think you're all that. And somehow I was able to silence them. So it works. It works. You need to replace those thoughts, replace it with something empowering, like a positive affirmation. Get scriptures. This is a tip that I know we hear, and some of us roll our eyes at. And the reason why you're rolling your eyes at the fact that people are saying get scriptures to help with intrusive thoughts is because you've not tried it. Get scriptures to help with intrusive thoughts. Get a gratitude statement. Every time you start to worry about money and your life and your career and family and marriage and whatever it is that bothers your mind, or wherever those intrusive thoughts seem to be coming from, get a scripture, get a gratitude statement to block and replace those thoughts whenever they come. It has always worked for me that I have some scriptures in my head that are always there ready for battle. If some of those thoughts come, the scriptures just jump out of my mouth and you're like, hey, you have no rights to be in this girl's head, yeah? So just think about that. And then number five, reduce your triggers. Guys, 2 weeks ago I told you I was in the trenches. And the reason why I was in the trenches was because I had a phone call, and this person went on and on telling me, oh, this is what this person is saying. This is what that person is saying. Those are triggers, and it just dragged me into that corner of having those intrusive thoughts that were ready to just to stop my peace. So If certain environments, certain shows, certain people, conversations, if they are feeding your anxiety and they're making you think so much, give yourself permission to simply just step back from those triggers. Protect your peace. So this video went off. I don't even know what happened, but the video went off. It was not recorded, and I was just talking and talking and talking. So yes, I think where I stopped was I was talking about the bonus tip for this video. And the bonus tip for this video is speaking out loud. When you have intrusive thoughts, one of the what now? The worst things you can do for yourself is to keep mute. Don't coil up in bed like a baby. Don't rock yourself back and forth on your bed. When you have an intrusive thought, you want to speak out loud. You either want to sit up on your bed, and I'm saying bed because I realized that most intrusive thoughts, for some reasons, they come mostly at night, or they come when you're trying to relax your body. So if you're having intrusive thoughts, please, I need you to not just sit down, speak out loud, talk, just speak. Whether it's a scripture you have in your mind, uh, whether it's the gratitude statement you have, whether it's an empowering reality you have about your life presently, do not keep short. When those thoughts come to tell you things that are not true of your reality or of the reality you want to see in your life, you need to talk. And you're not speaking to them per se. You're speaking to yourself to reinforce what you believe is true. The Bible says we should subject every thought to the authority of Christ. I believe that it's been working for me. When I had those intrusive thoughts telling me, oh, see what happened to you as a child, how do you think you're going to heal your way out of that? I'm like, oh no, you can't do that today. It's not going to work, because just look at how beautiful of a life I've been able to build for myself by the power of God. So you can't just come in here and want to pull that all down with this thought. So speak. I don't know if I'm doing a good job of giving you an example, but whatever you do, don't keep quiet when this evil thoughts come to your mind. Speak out loud. One of my favorite parts of my videos is coming up with this journaling prompts. And I have journaled about intrusive thoughts before, and it was so healing. So I want you to take out your journals and I want you to spend time with this prompt. Number one, when an intrusive thought shows up, what emotions or body sensations do I notice? Number two, what truths can I remind myself of when a thought feels scary or overwhelming? Number three, what safe, calming activities help me to return to the present moment? And another favorite part of this video, or of my videos for me, is the affirmations. I believe in affirmations. Affirmations are there to help reinforce what you believe to be true about your life, what you want to see in your reality, or what is already in your reality. So let's speak this over ourselves today. I am not my thoughts. I release what does not serve me. I choose peace. My mind is safe. My heart is steady. And my spirit is free from evil thoughts. Very powerful, very powerful. You want to say that again and again till you believe it. I would love to hear from you. Have you experienced intrusive thoughts? How do you handle them? What do you do? I want you to drop it in the comments below. This is a safe space. And if this video has blessed you, I would like you to share, to subscribe, and to just give it a thumbs up. And remember that you are worthy of peace, of joy, and of a sound mind. And till my next video, it's bye.